This is a battery I had for many years. Actually, I built this first before the pandemic started, or when the pandemic started, in 2019. So part of it was energy survivalism. But it's no longer necessary because I've now gone from a 16-volt system to a 25 volt system, 24-ish volt system. So I'm going to dismantle it and equilibrate the cells and see how old this is. I've temporarily, by the way, set up my my system to run off these valence batteries. I'm starting to think that these might be the best batteries ever. So these are $60 each, 40 amp hours, 12 volts. Now, I have configured these in series, so it is a 24 volt mode, or 25 volt mode, or 28.6, depending on what voltage you consider its voltage. It's nominal, it's maximum, or whatnot. However, some people might say, "Oh, but you got danger battery imbalances." Yeah, well, you can get a battery balancer for that. But that's not what right now I'm going to dismantle this and reconfigure the NMC as a 24 volt system. It means that my balancer and I had both a balancer and a BMS. So the BMS had a balancer built in too, but it was, I believe, a resistive balancer, whereas the active balancer was a inductive base. This bus bar is drilled by hand. These are M6 and M4 screws on the power terminals and the center tap terminals. Be careful when you dismantle your battery so you don't short circuit. Okay, now the last two. Notice I kept these two here. That's so that when I take it off, it doesn't accidentally short and swing. And also I'm using tape on my handle so that it doesn't accidentally drop and short on these terminals. These are, assume, high power capable. Terminals. We still have these plastic wrap from when it was shipped many years ago. I just never took it off. To inspection, these look like they're still good. They don't look like they're bulging. I'm not sure exactly what the capacity is on them anymore. But based on performance of the module, it was decent. Maybe at 40% state of health, based on looking at Victron's drain curve, so basically the total amp hours versus voltage curve. Based on that, I was estimating it to be at 40% state of health, which is pretty good after cycling essentially for 6 years. These were originally used. These are Gen 1 leaf cells, NMC. If you want to know where I got these from, I think these, I can't remember when I got these. It says I bought these in 2020. I think I got these from Green Tech Energy. There's a Green Tech Recycle, whatever. Green Tech Auto. From Green Tech Auto from eBay. These are originally his cells. At the time I paid like quite a bit for them. They're probably $70 a pop or $80 a pop. I bet they're not that much cheaper now, even if they're aged like 5 or 6 more years later. I'm kind of inspecting these for swelling. I'm expecting, but I never actually discussed them. This is the original shipping rack from 2020. They look fine. This is just shadowing from my room or from my garage. It's not a fold in the middle. Mostly look the same as they did. I don't see any. There's some slight, it's not really bulging. But yeah, it definitely can be compressed a bit if you were to put bolts through here. Bulging is a sign that they're going to go. The internal resistance readings based on the measurements I took with Victron, again, indicated they're still healthy. And again, 40% state of health. How you do that is you measure milliohms, the internal resistance. And that's basically if you put in 10 amps or you draw 10 amps from it, how much does the voltage change? If you have a resistance of 10 milliohms, and you pass 10 amps through it, that'll produce a 0.1 volt change in voltage of the battery, just from the internal resistance of the battery. So if you draw 10 amps and the voltage drops by 0.1 volts, you know 10 milliohms. That is not great. 2 milliohms is really good. 4 milliohms is good. 10 milliohms in the beginning of the curve, discharge curve, is bad. Custom circuit board. For this, I put a spot for a mega fuse here, which I haven't installed. And so I'll tap here for the positive terminal and here for the negative terminal. And they'll have a built-in fuse. Also a built-in microprocessor and slots for a BMS or a balancer. Okay, the custom circuit board is wired in. Note, on this custom circuit board, everything that's negative is on here, but they're grouped in pairs. Everything that's positive is here, but they're grouped in pairs. I need to manually jumper to configure these either in parallel for making one massive parallel module, or if I want to put it serial in as a 2 modules per group, then I need to put little connections here. And this is where the BMS is wired for this condition. I'm going to do this now. Now let's think about it again. 50 millivolts. If the internal resistance is 10 milliohms, which is kind of high, but let's just say it is, then 50 millivolts would only generate 5 amps. But 5 amps is a lot. It's a 50 amp hour battery. It would take basically 10 hours to equilibrate. So 50 millivolts is not an insignificant voltage difference. You want these things to be within like 10 millivolts or less of each other when you have them declared equilibrated. Okay, I've been equilibrating these batteries. I can check to see just how far off they are from equilibrium. .13. Yesterday these were 8.10 and these are 8.14. So these have equilibrated. I'm going to try these. .13, and that one there is probably equilibrated too. I'm not measuring it, but probably is. So it took 1 day for these to equilibrate. These are about 50 millivolts apart initially.